Hey, it's Emma here, and if you are currently the busiest person in your business, still catching all the balls before they drop, still jumping in to fix, chase, rescue, doing all the things, this one is for you, because I am on a mission to help you and all the business owners flip that model and mindset on its head before it breaks you, because it does if it goes untreated. So I really want to call out what I believe most founders are living in. And this is coming from definitely actual experience and also recent experience, like we all go through different seasons. And it's that you're not just leading the business. You're doing that, but you're also patching the things up, catching those things in the team that are going to drop that no one else is. And quite frankly, that's exhausting. Chasing your team along, you are pulling them along with you rather than being lifted by them. It's not meant to be like that you're pulling everybody along. You're firefighting your own workload while other people leave on time. You're checking into everyone's role just to keep things afloat. And you're the person with the longest to-do list and the least white space. You might be working nights, weekends, you get the drift, and yet your team still needs you to move things forward. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people have been sold a vision of that's what it's like to be a business owner. You need to be doing everything. You should be the busiest. And it's actually the complete opposite. I've sat around too many mastermind tables to know that most business owners are living with this. And there's a reason why only 4% of business owners get past the 1 million mark. They're in this unfortunate position of being a business owner and an employee, but with less freedom than their own employees. And if that's you right now, I get it. I totally see you. So I want to use my episode today to give you the process of how to recognize it and get out of it. You are not meant to carry this whole thing on your own. Yes, the business is your idea. Yes, you are the founder. Yes, you have the vision, the strategy, all of the amazing ideas of why you have a business in the first place. And it starts with you, but that doesn't mean that everything needs to end with you. You are not meant to carry this whole thing on your own. I feel like we've been sold a story of you are the busiest hustler because you're the founder. Yes, you are the founder, and it starts with you. It started with you. You are the person that created the vision, the strategy, all of the amazing things that you've made out of nothing. Like, this is what we do as business owners. But your team, whether it's full-time, part-time, a virtual assistant, a contractor, whether it's your best mate helping you out, they are an investment. And like any investment, they should be delivering you a return, whether that's monetary, your sanity, or time freedom. And for me, if you're not getting at least 2 of those 3 returns from a member in your team, something is broken. And that might be like either the expectations are unclear, or you're holding on to too much, you're not saying what you should do, or you've hired people to help who just aren't really owning anything. And that is the worst, because then you end up acting like mum and dad. Everything works out if you fix it or you get involved, like Emma saves the day. That's what so many of us are doing. But the really key part of today's episode, I want you to hear loud and clear, is that the biggest asset in your business isn't your website, it's not your offer, it's not your network, it's you. You are the biggest asset in your business. And honestly, it's not dramatic enough to say that you must be protected at all costs, because most founders, especially the kind that we work with, they treat themselves like they're at the bottom of the pyramid, and you end up protecting everybody else. You pick up the slack. You feel most pain when something goes wrong. You pay yourself the least when things get difficult. You eat last, and all of the shit filters through you. And worst of all, the most uncomfortable conversations get left unsaid because you get so drained of energy, you haven't got the energy to say it. But I want you to know that your business exists to serve you. And I think often we really forget a lot of this, especially when you have a team and your team have demands. Your business should fund your life. It should protect your energy. It should give you the time you want and let you do the work that actually lights you up. And sometimes I think we forget it because we're so in the weeds. We can't even imagine that that's possible and that this is normal now. Yes, there will be seasons of hustle where you go all in, where you're putting in the extra shift. There is no kind of 5 p.m. finish. You're going all in. But it's not meant to be like that. That is ultimately poor system design, team design, accountability, but we can fix it. And even a couple of, just before Christmas, I had Daniel Priestley on the podcast, And there's something like that really stuck with me that he said. And it's like the founder's job is to lead. Land the big whales, the big opportunities, the big partnerships, the big vision. That is what actually a business owner's job is. It's not to be in the inbox or the Slack channel or the diary back and forths or the little crises or the gossip. Your job is to lead from the front, to build the strategy, attract opportunity, attract partnerships, create the future, lead your team. Everything else, that's operational and inside your business and should be carried with your team. And you should be able to, of course, have those check-in moments with your team to make, we don't all have businesses that fully run without us. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that 75% of your time should be spent on leading the business. It is not, as business owners, we get so stuck into just fixing the next thing. I feel like we need this mantra in our heads to remind ourselves that being a business owner is about leading the business, not fixing all the problems all of the time. So I know people, you will be listening to this and recognizing themselves. You feel it in your gut. You know who I'm describing. So I'm just going to give you some steps of how I would take you from where you are feeling now to actually leading the business. And the first question to ask yourself is, where am I still the glue? And you'll know when you go, like, you know who you're propping up. You know that you are helping someone else's performance. You're doing the admin that doesn't move the needle. You're avoiding actually delegating because it is just quicker to do it yourself and it feels painful. You're saying yes to too many things because you don't trust anyone else will do it. And that's the starting point. I mean, it's why I designed our PA support in the way that we did, that we provide executive strategic assistance, because you don't want somebody else just ticking off tasks. You want someone that is actually going to share the load, strategize with you, build a plan that actually gets executed. You don't need another doer hanging off you. But whether you work with us or not, like, here's the process I want to give you today. So if you ask yourself those questions, if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, like the weight of the business is on your shoulders, once you've asked the questions of who are you propping up, where are you not handing things over, I want you to list where you feel stuck as well, not just in tasks, but look at where your energy dips, where resentment creeps in, where the pressure sits. And if it's a people issue, who is it that's feeling the heaviest to carry on the team? If there's someone on your team who always needs chasing, checking in, I want to just ask you, do they have clear KPIs? Do they know what they're supposed to achieve and by when? Because if you go, well, actually, I'm annoyed with them, but no, they don't really. Well, okay, great, because this is an opportunity to fix it now. If they do, and we're just not addressing the things, like, we need to have a plan to have that uncomfortable conversation, set the meeting, plan what you're going to say, be direct and don't avoid it. It unearths and it frees up so many amazing things. And then if it's tasks that are weighing you down, I would like you to think about the things that you're really hating doing and what would success look like if somebody else owned this. Then today, from listening to this podcast, I want you to commit to getting someone to help you with them. Again, set a weekly check-in and step out of the way. If it's financial strain, so if you stop paying yourself what's left over at the end of the month, I want you to flip that around and set the non-negotiable minimum. Like, you need to serve yourself first. So I need you to understand what the number is you need out of the business and work backwards from that, because it forces you to be far more strategic and drastic on what needs to be cut, who needs to improve, what needs to grow, who's not delivering. Please, 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 put a boundary around what you want to get paid first and work backwards from there. And if it's a time issue, because that is the fourth place where business owners feel heavy, I want you to think about, where do you need to say no or I'm unavailable? Like, boundary setting and blocking the time is one of the most important things you can do. The team need to take the reins and take responsibility for what they are employed for. Yes, they also might drop a ball or two, but those problems were already there. So all they're going to do is come to the surface, and you're going to be able to tackle them, solve them, and that's progress. You don't need to fix everything at once. But this week, pick one area, whether it's the financials of paying yourself, your boundaries, the team member that's not pulling the weight. Get clear. Make the list, have the conversation, make the decision, and take the weight off your shoulders and stop being the busiest person in the room. Because I can honestly say, once you just, and it might be all four. It might be that you need to tackle all four of them. But let's do it in small steps. And honestly, taking action creates momentum. And I know that just doing one of these things, like the relief you get as a business owner from having the uncomfortable conversation. I was watching a video the other day with Keith Cunningham, who's the dad from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He's the guy that Robert Kiyosaki looked up to. He said that one of the worst things in business is all of the unsaid conversations which don't happen. And I know from personal experience, like you get tired, there's another thing to do. The last thing you feel like doing is having the direct conversation with a member of the team, but it's often one of the biggest energy unlocks, both for you and the other team member. It gets everything clear, accountable, and aligned. So this episode, I'd love you to just think about and you'll know immediately where that area is, whether it's team, time, your boundaries, what you're paying yourself. And I want you to think about what's the one thing you're going to tackle first and just start to do it bit by bit. We often focus on our goals so much. We focus on our goals, where we want to get to. We'll make a list of what things we need to do. I think one of the best things you can do is make a list of the problems that you're avoiding. And I know that's not the sexiest thing to do as a business owner, but the problems that you're avoiding, whether it's something financially, whether it's a client issue, whether it's a team issue, make a list of those problems and go, okay, here is my list. One that immediately feels like 10 million times better because you're starting to confront the things that are draining your energy. If you make a list of the problems and start to plan time in, whether it's an hour this coming Friday to go, right, I'm actually going to ring that client. I'm actually going to have the conversation with that team member. Why it's almost like we focus on our goals and we completely try and press the pedal over here for the accelerator, but then we also ignore the hurdles and the problems that are potentially holding us back. And I think it's as important to identify and list those problems and make a plan to make those happen. I want this episode today just to really drive home that whatever story you've been told about how busy you're meant to be, a business owner is meant to be the one whose time is protected the most, whose financial security is protected the most. You know the old saying, you have to put your oxygen mask on first to protect everybody else around you and to be able to help other people. It's honestly so true. You start to lead better. You aren't meant to carry it all. You're just not. I just know all business owners think they are. Well, this is it. This is the job. You are meant to lead. All the most successful business owners I have interviewed on this podcast, they aren't checking their Slacks every 10 minutes, after the episode. They aren't checking their emails as soon as we've finished. They aren't looking in Teams to see what the latest crisis is. They're doing the thing in front of them and they are moving on to the next opportunity or the next, they're actually leading. It's really tangible when you spend time around a business owner that has got time freedom, money freedom, has got an exciting business that's growing, something they're really enjoying, to those that are stuck in the weeds. And the difference between the two of them, even from a distraction point of view, is massive. Their phone is not a thing that's constantly in front of them. The successful, the business owner that's properly leading, they are not constantly distracted and they are in the moment, present and fully giving intention. And that is what this episode is about, because it is possible and that is how it's meant to be. So if you take anything from this podcast at all today, that is how it's meant to be and it's possible to get there. But it starts with addressing the things that you know are weighing you down. So if you start acting like the asset you are and let your business carry you, honestly, it leads to the most amazing places and you will, as I am obsessed with, focus on the fun stuff way more in your business.